Hello everyone and welcome to the Spirits channel. I'm Paul James Caden, and in this particular video and experiment with ITC, I'm going to be inquiring of Spirit about what happened to the members of the Heaven's Gate cult when they committed suicide. Now, if you're not familiar with the Heaven's Gate cult, this was a cult that was founded by a gentleman by the name of Marshall Applewhite and a woman named Bonnie Nettles. Applewhite and Nettles actually met in a psychiatric ward where Marshall Applewhite had checked himself in because he was having some psychiatric issues, and Bonnie Nettles was a nurse in this psychiatric ward. And somehow the two of them got talking, and she believed that he wasn't crazy. He was kind of this messiah figure. And eventually the two of them went off together and started a cult, which eventually became Heaven's Gate. Marshall Applewhite eventually went by the name of Doe, and Bonnie Nettles went by the name of T, and they were the leaders, T and Doe, of the Heaven's Gate cult. Now, sadly, Bonnie Nettles ended up passing away of cancer, and this, afterwards, Marshall Applewhite was very distraught. He very obviously had some psychiatric issues, and this was a big blow to him. And things started to get a little dark from there, where he apparently wanted to join her on the other side. And you can see videos on YouTube where he's talking about T is in spirit now from where she came. She was a divine being. You know, she was his heavenly father and all this type of thing. And he's almost in tears. And this is when the cult gets kind of dark, and he talks his followers into leaving their earthly bodies, inevitably through suicide, and rising, up to the next level above human. The cult believed that when they took their own lives, their souls were going to be intercepted by this UFO that was either, I don't remember if it was in the tail of the comet or the head of the comet, where these alien beings were going to intercept their souls and take them to this paradise type of setting where they would undergo training for the next level above human. So on, I believe it was March 26th, 1997, the cult members all committed suicide by eating jello and pudding with phenobarbital and other medications mixed in, and they all perished. It's very strange that you can go on YouTube and see a lot of the videos and teachings of Marshall Applewhite, and even the videos that the cult members made. I think those videos are still on there. The videos that the cult members made just days before they committed suicide, and these people were happy. They were happy to do it, happy to be going to the next level above human, as they call it. So in this session, I'm going to be inquiring of Spirit, what happened to those people when they stepped over into the spirit realm after they took their own lives? Were they received with mercy and forgiveness and counseling because they were obviously very damaged people? Or was there some kind of karma that they had to pay for taking their own lives? And this is basically what the spirit session is going to be all about. Now, for this session, I'm doing something a little different. I'm going to be using this on-chair radio that I showed in my Ghost Box video, and I'm using it as, can't see if you can actually see it there. I'm using it as a bit of a portal, and I'm running the Dead Wave app through the radio. The Dead Wave is by Chill Seekers, available in the Google Play Store. The app is $10.99. It's free. And I wanted to run it through the radio so I could adjust the volume as I ask questions. I could turn the volume up and down without me talking over an app that's continually making noise and words and phrases and whatever's coming through. I thought it would be an interesting idea to use one of the radios, since they do have Bluetooth, and run the app through the radio, turn the volume down, ask my question, turn the volume up, and let Spirit answers. And I think this was a good session. There were definitely some very clear and concise and direct answers to my questions. And just in case you're wondering, this is the audio of the session put over a photo. And the reason I usually do that, for those that might be wondering, maybe you're not, I don't know, but where I live, my wife works at home, I work from home. I have a stepdaughter who is 21 years old, I believe she is now. She's disabled, nonverbal. So there's a lot of activity in the house. Sometimes it's not always quiet to do a session or a video. So I kind of dodge raindrops and in doing my videos, and do these videos kind of piecemeal. If it's quiet at night, I'll do the session. Right now, my wife took my stepdaughter to get a haircut, so I got about 25-30 minutes approximately. So I'm shooting the intro. Then I just kind of put it all together and translate the words onto the screen and put the video out. I may do some videos in the future filming myself doing a session with some apps or some such thing. But for right now, doing it this way is certainly the easiest, without setting up a whole bunch of equipment, filming me, recording a session. Sometimes time and the hour that I do the sessions and the videos, it's just not conducive to setting up all this stuff, then taking it all down and putting it away. So that's why I generally do the sessions the way that I do. I had one or two people ask me in the past why I do it this way for the most part, and that's why. It's dodging those raindrops, finding those quiet moments, doing one part, then maybe a night later doing the next part, getting it all together, and then merging the videos and putting it out. So with that little bit of explanation, let's get into the Spirit Box session using the OnShear radio as a portal, running the Dead Wave app by Chill Seekers through the radio, asking questions about the Heaven's Gate cult, and seeing what Spirit has to say about what happened to these people when they stepped over into the spirit world. Let's find out what Spirit has to say. So I would like to start this session by introducing myself. My name is Paul. I come in love, peace, friendship, and with respect. And I'm asking if there are any spirits here this evening that could talk to me through this device and perhaps communicate with me about what happens to cult members like the Heaven's Gate cult who took their own lives, and what happens to them in the afterlife. So let's begin by asking, are there any spirits here this evening? Could I ask how many spirits are around me here tonight?
Could you tell me your names and introduce yourself, please, before we begin the main part of the session?
Like it was
Well, thank you all for joining me tonight. And without further ado, I would like to ask you, spirits, do you know what happens to people like the Heaven's Gate cult when they leave this earth, especially after taking their own lives? Are you familiar with what happens to such people when they cross over? Do they have a happy outcome in the afterlife? Or are they met with perhaps a heavier karma for taking their own lives? It sounded like someone said, no help and false. So are they left for a time in perhaps a state of mental and spiritual suffering because of what they did, to reflect on the seriousness or perhaps the immoral act of taking their own lives for selfish reasons? Would that be perhaps a correct statement to make about their state after death? I kept hearing the word fate. It sounded like someone said curse at the end. So is it perhaps there was some heavy karma that met them afterwards? Could you perhaps answer just yes or no for that question? Now, what about their leader, Marshall Applewhite? We know that he had some emotional and psychological problems, but he was the one who led his followers to take their own lives. What happened to him after he left the earth plane? Did he too meet with some heavy karma that he had to pay, or was he shown mercy and received perhaps some kind of psychological help and healing and understanding on the other side? What happened to Marshall Applewhite? Let me ask again, what was the lot of Marshall Applewhite being the leader of this group? What happened to him when he crossed over into the spirit realm? Were the members of this cult disappointed when they found out they weren't being taken aboard a UFO that was in the head of the comet? Were they disappointed or frightened when they realized that they were wrong about what they believed? It sounded like I heard the words pissed and no faith. Does this mean some of them were angry and lost their faith once they crossed over and saw that their faith was very misled and untrue? Some of them were angry and they lost faith. Sorry for the motorcycles outside suddenly. Let me ask that again. Were some of the Heaven's Gate cult members angry when they realized their faith was misplaced? And did some of them lose all faith when they realized they weren't rising to this next level above human that they always talked about? What will eventually happen to the Heaven's Gate cult members in the afterlife? Will they eventually find redemption and entrance into the light? Or will they be forever lost, as some believe? What will happen to them? It sounded like a lot of words there. Father, heaven, rebirth, if I heard all that right. So does that mean many or all of them will be reincarnated upon this earth to try to work through the weaknesses and issues of their souls that led them astray in their previous life? What would you recommend, or rather, what would your message be to people who are in cults on the earth today, because there are many? What would the Spirit say to those cult members who are being led by these personalities to perhaps believe and even do things that are against the laws of God, that are immoral and even very dark? What would your message to them be? Sounded like I heard the word freedom. So you would tell them what I kind of felt when I heard that word, is you would tell them to free themselves and get out of these cults and follow the way of peace, light, and love. Would that be a correct assumption? Well, I'm going to end this session now. I thank all of you who left any words or messages. I thank all of you who listened to this session after it was complete. And to my spirit friends, I say good night, God bless, and we will talk again soon. And I'll see all of you in the next video. Bye for now.